Why do puppies suck for so many of you at home? In this video, I'm going to show you some of the most important things to develop the most perfect puppy for you and your family. In this video, you're going to see me talk about crate training, why you should do it and how you should start it. Socialization. Should you socialize your dog? How should you socialize your dog? What you and your family should be doing and the guidelines you guys should be covering to create a successful puppy, as well as how much exercise and what type of exercise you and your puppy should be getting. And the last topic we're going to be talking about is absolutely the most important topic for any dog owner, especially a puppy. So make sure that you guys watch until the end because you're not going to want to miss it. Now, one question I have for you viewers out there is, I'm very curious, what age did you start training your puppy? Leave a comment in the comments below and let me know. I really want to know. Now we're going to be working with a 6-month-old heeler today, but don't worry, any of the puppy stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to be applicable to an 8-week-old puppy as well as even a dog that's full grown. Now Darby is a dog, obviously a heeler, and unfortunately he was actually abandoned in an apartment, left in a crate for obviously dead, which is terrible. So he was rescued and one of our staff actually has adopted him. So he's living with her and he's also got a great life here at the facility. So we're going to be working with him today, but I wanted to give you a little background on Darby and the things that we're going to be covering with him are going to help his life in the future. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is crate training, why we should do it, why we shouldn't do it, and how to introduce it. Let's go. So crate training is one of those things that you may read a bunch of different stuff on the internet about. And everybody kind of has their own way of doing things. Everyone kind of has their own style of doing things. And I really like crate training for the simple fact of keeping your dog safe and giving them an environment that can keep them sheltered and maybe away from potential things that they really don't want to be involved with. Kids, loud people, thunderstorms, maybe they're just tired. So a lot of people kind of view the crate as a punishment, and it's not unless you treat it like it is. The crate training in the beginning stages is very simple. I'm gonna put you in a location that I know you're gonna be safe. You're not gonna be able to get into anything. You're not gonna be able to chew on anything. You're not gonna eat a bottle of pills that could potentially harm you. And it also gives the dog an off switch. So when you're dealing with a puppy, like this 6-month-old Mr. Darbus here, you're dealing with a dog that has a lot of energy. He's watching all the other dogs. He's barking, he's excited. After this session that we train in, he's gonna be exhausted. So putting him into his crate and letting him nap, much like children, is gonna be the best option for him. That's why we like to crate train, and that's why it's important for most puppies and most dogs to start that development early. So we're gonna start with some food. Obviously, Darby is very motivated by food, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start associating the crate with something like a cue. So it's gonna be Darby crate, and then we're not gonna shut the door. A lot of people like to go ahead and just shut the door immediately, and that can make a dog a little bit nervous. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take that reward. Darby, crate. Good boy, lots of positive reinforcement. Good crate, buddy. And then even when he's in there, you can pay him. Good crate. And really, we're just associating the crate with all the good stuff. Good job, buddy. Darby, crate. Take your food, troubleshoot, crate. Yeah, good job. So if your dog doesn't want to go in there in the beginning stages, take that item, that ball, that tug, or let's just show you what it looks like with the tug. Darby, crate. Yay, good boy, nice job. Lots of positive reinforcement. Now, my suggestion for you guys at home, especially if you have a dog that's maybe 6 months that you've adopted or it's a dog that's never been in a crate, you wanna do this for a couple days before you start shutting the actual crate door. Because again, you don't want the dog to feel like they've been locked in and they're not gonna be able to get out. And to be honest with you guys, when Darby first came to us, or came to his owner anyway, he was staying here, so I say us, he obviously didn't like the crate because he was left in a crate for dead. So he's actually gotten over that crate anxiety and actually does really good in a crate now. So we're gonna do it again with some food, and then I'm gonna show you how to shut the door and start phasing that out as well. Darby, crate. Good crate. Then you can start shutting the door, and then you can actually start paying him through the crate. Good, giving him those treats. And again, using tons of positive reinforcement to let him know, hey man, this is a great place. Now, as you guys get better and your duration and your time gets longer in the crate, you may leave it, count on your watch, 10 seconds, break, and then you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you start moving away, and so on and so forth. Now, the other great thing about teaching the crate training is you also have an opportunity to teach threshold and boundaries. So I'll show you what that looks like. It's really helpful when you're developing a new puppy or developing a new dog. Darby, hey, crate. Good boy. So you're gonna be holding this, and you can also start working on just thresholds. Hey, don't come out of here until I release you. That immediately tells the dog that you are making the decisions, and they will look for you for more direction, and they will look for you for more guidance, which ultimately will help with a lot of confidence building and stuff like that. Stay. Good, stay. Okay, break. So it's on your terms. Very simple. And you guys can do this throughout the process of a couple days, I would say a week. And that, my friends, is how to introduce the crate to your new puppy. All right, you guys, socialization. This is a very, very lengthy process and big description, but I'll keep it really simple for you guys. I think the most important thing to understand is socialization doesn't necessarily mean the dog park. Socialization doesn't necessarily mean going up to sniff and play and engage with every single person and every single dog we see on the streets. It's actually on the contrary of that. Socialization for most animals in general is neutrality. Being around other dogs, being around other people, being around kids, and just being themselves. So I particularly tell all of my new puppy owners, and of course the No Bad Dog Army out there, that you actually don't want your puppy or your new dog to go up to every single person that they see. Because what's gonna end up happening, especially when you get a cute little 8-week-old, 10-week-old puppy and you let them go up to everybody, is what happens when they're 180 pounds is, of course, you just taught them that going up to every single stranger that they see on Broadway is a good idea. And you got to be very careful to not develop these bad behaviors, because you're going to have a really hard time in the future to get rid of those behaviors. You're going to work twice as hard. So when you have a new dog and you have a new puppy, socialization is really just the idea of having the dog around other dogs and being obedient and being neutral. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you can't have your dog go and play with other dogs like you see in this clip with Darby and our other board and train Arthur. They can play and they can have fun, but I really just wanted to make this little section on socialization and just let everybody know that just because your dog likes other people and just because your dog likes other dogs does not mean that they should go up and see and develop and be with all of these other dogs all the time. Come here, Darby. All right, I got you. We got to film some stuff, buddy. All right, you guys, so the next thing that I want to talk about is family. So you guys just brought your new puppy home to your family, whether it's just your significant other or your 8 kids. It's important to understand, especially here at the Upstate Canine Academy, we see a lot of families coming in, working with their puppies or even adult dogs. And you want to make sure that the kids or the other people, your husband, your wife, your aunt, the guy living downstairs or the guy on the couch that's living with you, you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. You want to stay consistent. If you have people that are living within your family or living within your house that aren't really willing and able to put in the proper training with your dog, maybe they say, sit, and we've been asking the dog and telling the dog to sit and stay, and then they're backtracking and actually regressing your training. So I always tell people, if you have maybe younger kids or you have a spouse that just doesn't want to listen to how to train the dog properly after you've done the proper training yourself with a professional, I would just tell them to, hey, maybe play with the dog instead. So maybe throw a tug or throw a ball or maybe go out and just run around with the dog. So be very mindful and be very careful that if you're going to allow people in your family, kids or spouses or anybody else that lives with you, access to your dog, make sure that they're training the same way that you develop the training. Don't allow them to regress your dog, because you're going to go 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And that's my little bit on family applications and family blending, making sure that everybody's on the same page. Now, exercise. Again, it's a lot like the socialization that we were talking about. Is everyone thinks exercise is having a beautiful fenced in 30 by 60 area for your dog to run around and go crazy with. And for some of you, that may be good physical exercise like it is for Darby right now. However, it is simply not enough, especially for this healer puppy that needs to be running on the farm, realistically chasing a bunch of livestock. But for now, this is what we're going to be working with. Maybe in the future, we'll get a couple goats walking around here, who knows? But anyway, exercise is not only just having that space. Exercise is not only just playing chuck it. It's part of it. It's important. It's something that you have to do. But there's also mental stimulation. And mental stimulation is very often overlooked. You have a dog like this, you're not going to be able to mentally exhaust them unless you really work at it. Now, this is where dogs will bark in their kennel. This is where dogs will bark because they're bored. This is where you'll see dogs digging. This is where you'll see dogs chewing on shoes. This is where you might see your dogs chewing on the furniture. They're bored. You may say, well, we walked earlier today, or we walked earlier this week, or we let him outside to sniff, and it's not gonna be enough. It's simply just not enough. And of course, this video is really generalized on the internet, but you have to also really understand the breeds that you have. This healer puppy needs multiple episodes, multiple sessions a day on mental and physical exercise. So right now, a perfect example of physical exercise is this dog running around, chasing this Hermspringer tug toy, and maybe playing with another dog. And mental exercise and mental stimulation is exactly how it sounds. It's getting him to do something. It's sit, it's down, it's stay, getting him to think. And these are the most important things when we're talking about mental stimulation. Now, the other thing to really consider moving forward is think about how mentally stimulated we get throughout the day and how it can make us tired. You take a hard test, you think too much, you're stressed. It really takes a lot out of us. And for the most part, we're not going to be able to really exhaust the dog physically because of the animals that they are. So it's important for us to also provide mental stimulation. Throwing a chuck it, letting the dog play around, but then also just simply grabbing what they have and then asking them to do something for that behavior. So let's ask them to do some stuff. What is mental stimulation? What does that mean, Tom, when you say that? That means this. Darby, place, good place. Sit, stay. Nope. Sit, stay, working for that item, thinking for that item, holding, okay, break, releasing on my command. This is also something that you guys can do right now, mental stimulation. Again, think of it as a job, a task, thinking of doing something, not just doing. Stay, break, and then paying the dog. Oh, there goes my bottle. So that's what mental and physical stimulation is. It's very, very, very important, literally for all dogs. To be honest with you, when people come in with a behavioral problem or any training ask, if they are not doing the things that they need to do at home, if they're not exercising their dogs on the walks or out in their yards or at their house, we simply won't work with them because you need both of them. It's like getting into the best shape of your life. Yes, you have to exercise, that's a big part of it, but you also have to eat good. You're not gonna be able to have the success that you want if you don't do both. For those of you who are wondering what type of equipment I use to play, I use anything Hermspringer makes. This is a Hermspringer ball. This is a Hermspringer little puppy tug. It's great, great quality. As always, link in the description below. Break. Now, a side pro tip is you don't want to overdo it with your dog. You don't want to exhaust them to a point where they're completely tired. So a side pro tip is simply going to be make sure when you're training with your dog, 5 to 10 minute increments, and make sure when your dog is out and playing, look for the signs of your dog being exhausted. Like right now, he is down chewing on this toy, which tells me he's pretty much losing his steam. We're going to take the toy away. We're going to go inside. We're going to put him back into the crate. So now the number one tip, the most important thing, the moment you guys have all been waiting for, and it's a question I get all the time, is when should you start training your dog? Absolutely as soon as possible. Now, when we talk about training, it doesn't necessarily mean getting an 8-week-old puppy and teaching them how to heel right off the bat. That doesn't mean teaching them recall off leash. That doesn't mean bringing them out and playing with them immediately. Training can simply mean yielding to leash pressure, getting your dog associated with their new name. We could go on all day about what to train your puppy in the beginning. And here in this video, there's some really helpful tips, but do not wait. As somebody who specializes in behavior modification, working with some really aggressive dogs all over the world, one thing that I have always found is people wait until there's a problem. Don't wait for there to be a problem. Go and start training with your local trainer as soon as humanly possible to start developing that relationship, because training is good to have a well-behaved dog in reality, but it's also really, really great for your relationship. So that's the number one question, and I think the most important thing that a lot of puppy owners fail to do. And I think if they did it in the beginning, we wouldn't see so many dogs in shelters. We wouldn't see dogs that maybe have been a little bit challenging, so people left them behind because it's too hard for them to move on with the dog. So that's the number one thing, and I hope that this video is helpful. Leave a comment below if you guys love Darby like I do and wish him the best of luck in his new house with our new trainer. And thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and turn on your notification bell. Please, YouTube has changed pretty much everything that they've done. You probably won't see another video I put out this month unless you turn on that bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. Bye. All right, you guys, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you hit this to subscribe to my channel or click this other video to check out all the other cool things we're doing with dogs.